So your buyer falls in love with a house and it just went under contract. What do? You either write it back up, or if your buyer doesn't understand, sometimes they'll say, well, let's just see how it goes. That's not a good strategy, because somebody, if it's a sought after property, is gonna write it back up.
Call or click 404 Eclipse.
So you finally convince your buyer, let's go ahead and write a backup offer. And you know, what's the worst they can say? Here's what you need to do first. You need to call the agent the listing agent that already has it under contract with another buyer, and ask them, will that seller accept a backup offer, right? Okay, now once you get the answer, sure, he'll accept a backup. There's a couple things you kind of need to thread the needle on. One of them is this happens 9 out of 10 times. When you send the backup offer with the backup contingency exhibit that says, hey, my guy's going to be in second position. There's a lot more to it than I'm going to explain right now. But my buyer's going to be in second position. We need to know the buyer for your current contract. What is their name? The agent's going to say, why do you need to know the buyer's name for the current contract? The answer to that question is, the reason we want to know the buyer's name for the current contract you have is so if that one falls apart, you can't slide somebody in and keep us in second position. That's why it's part of the backup contingency exhibit. But if you're dealing with an agent that's never accepted or even negotiated with a backup, they don't understand. It catches them off guard. Or let's say it's a $200,000 property, and your buyer, who's about to, we're trying to get him into second position, is going to, instead of 200,000, they're going to offer 190. And you give them 2 or 3 days to decide. 2 or 3 days goes by, you call the agent back and say, hey, what happened? What happened to our backup offer? Oh, it wasn't enough. Why don't you counter back and say 190 is not enough if you want to be in backup position? If you want to be in second position, it's going to have to be 200,000. 190,000 is not enough. Why not counter back? Oh, it just wasn't enough. I got that part. It wasn't enough. Here's why I'm telling you this story. Some agents don't understand how backup offers work. Those are some of the dynamics when you write a backup. Here's what you want to know. You want to write a backup if your buyer likes it. Here's what you don't want. You don't want your buyer to say, well, let's just see how it goes. Well, my crystal ball is in the shop, so I can't tell you exactly how it's going to go, but here's how it's probably going to go. So you're talking to your buyer, say, look, let's see how it goes. What? That's not a strategy. I'll tell you how it's probably going to go. Somebody else is going to write a backup, and if that primary contract falls apart, somebody else is going to go under contract, and we're going to miss out on this. So the remedy is, let's write a backup. Let's don't see how it goes. Let's make it go, or try our best to encourage that it goes, or let's do all that we can to ensure that it goes. Let's don't wait and see how it goes.